So recently I got a question about what I pack for a pen show, and while I'm not currently packed for a pen show, I do always keep this kit pretty much packed. A couple things come out, but for the most part what's in this kit stays in this kit, so I always know where it is. So today we're going to go through my medium Delfonics bag. This bag travels with me to pen shows, stays with me on the show floor in whatever bag I'm carrying on show floor, and is pretty much essential for me when I'm at a show because it contains everything I need. So let's start with the front. For a pen show, these pockets will all be full. These pens generally have a pen of some sort and a pencil, and these pockets over here will be carrying traveler's clips or something. Then we have a ballpoint from Monteverde. I love this pen. When you're filling out sometimes raffle tickets or something at a pen show, you need a non-fountain pen because you're not always using fountain pen friendly paper, and if you use fountain pens they feather like crazy. I love this pen. I carry it on my lanyard at a pen show, and it's super bright, it's super colorful, it's super fun. The next thing I carry in these front pockets is a little notebook. I like this paper. I don't own it in a bigger size, but it's pretty good for just taking notes when on the go. We needed some stuff for the cabin. It's great. It's little. It's compact. You can slide it into the pocket of a suit or something. And so that's why I carry it at a pen show. Next up, we have a fun little stationary ruler. I do oftentimes carry my Galen leather ruler as well, but I do like the fun shapes this one has, and so I do tend to carry this at a pen show. Then we have these two pockets. At a pen show, these will be filled with Gatorade Zero packets. Normally 2 different flavors, and I'll know normally blue goes here and another flavor of some sort goes here, and I just know that blue's always in this side and something else is over here, and so when I'm grabbing a packet of Gatorade, I roughly know what flavor I'm choosing. I frequently get really dehydrated on the show floor, and with the brain injury will start to feel unwell. I've found that Gatorade Zero and similar products help to mitigate those symptoms and manage them, and so I'm a big fan of it, especially on show floor. Then we come to the back. I have sticky tack. I find that I need this at pen shows far more often than you think. Sometimes stands aren't staying where you want them to stay, or there are papers on a table that you need to stay put. Sticky tack is brilliant. No one ever carries it. And you become everyone's favorite person if you've got sticky tack or you've got scissors or a knife on the pen show floor when people are trying to unpack. In this little back pocket, we have flags and a single thing of ammo decks. Now, I've not needed to use ammo decks. I find most of the time that Private Reserve Zero Remover and Colorverse ink soap are enough to get out whatever ink issues I'm dealing with. That being said, I do carry a single packet of ammo decks. It's often available on show floor as well. I just like to carry a pack. These are the 2 essentials that I think are frequently overlooked. Safety pins. Sometimes tablecloths slip. Sometimes people have accidents with items of clothing. Safety pins are such a small thing to add to your toolkit and are such a lovely thing to have. Because when you really need one, you want somebody to have one. And so I just carry a little thing of safety pins clipped onto my bag. I also carry a nib wipe. This actually lives on this bag. I have a couple of these. I adore these, and at a pen show, this will live on my lanyard so that if I open one of my pens and it's an inky mess, I can tidy it up. But also if I'm opening testers at a table for somebody and there's been an issue in transit and they've leaked ink, I can clean it before I hand it to somebody. These are such a great essential, and I love that the Esterbrook ones have this little loop, and so you can just put them on your lanyard. If you've seen me at a pen show, you've pretty much guaranteed to have seen this on my lanyard because they have, I think since Scriptus last year, I've been using one on my show lanyard. Not going anywhere anytime soon. Next up, we have the big pocket, and I would say this is chock-a-block full of a whole lot of stuff. We're going to start with the pencil case. Yes, we're at a pen show, but there are some things that I actually really like having in this pencil case. Number 1 is a dip nib holder. This one's 3D printed. I've been through a couple over the years, different dip nib holders. For a while I was carrying my River City Pen Company one. This one is from Pensloth. I also carry a highlighter. Sometimes at pen shows, you're given an information packet. And I just like to be able to go through it, highlight if there's a presentation I want to go see. I want to be able to flag that information, so I carry a highlighter, also carry a pencil, an eraser, a fine liner. Right now I'm carrying my 2 favorite brush pens because sometimes, you know, a name tag isn't written and it's nice to have a nice, you know, flourishy pen to do that with. And I prefer to write name tags in not a fountain pen because frequently the name tag paper is not fountain pen friendly and feathers like crazy. I also have 2 Sharpie fine liners right now. Normally one of these is a normal Sharpie, so I'm not quite sure why I've got 2 fine liners, but I will fix that before I repack this bag. And then we come to these 2 back pockets. One of the things I love about this bag is the number of pockets, and things always go back into the same place. So we have a packet of the col-o-ring paper. I don't travel with my col-o-ring dippers to pen shows very often. I find it to be overwhelming and I never use them. That being said, I do actually really like having col-o-ring paper when I travel to a pen show, because if I'm swatching inks at a table that I might want to buy, it lets me try out inks on paper that I already know and love, and it's pretty fantastic. So I do carry an oversized pad. I clearly got it on sale somewhere, I think at Toronto Pen Shop, but fabulous. Next is Visconti blotting paper. Unlike a lot of other blotting papers, this is A, a very tiny pad, B, the sheets are very tiny, and C, the sheets are single-sided because the other side is lined in plastic. Now, I don't use these in my studio every day. They're expensive compared to Esterbrook stuff. I do like their size though, and sort of their practicality at a pen show, where I'm not potentially worried about like the blotting paper transferring ink to something else if it's not fully dry before I shove it in a bag. Because this is plastic lined on one side, it absorbs ink incredibly fast, and I find dries incredibly fast. So I'm never worried about it making a mess. Plus, they're very little, and so if somebody's looking for a sheet of blotting paper, I have one to give to somebody. And so I would actually say that's mostly how the Visconti blotting paper gets used for me, is, you know, somebody is looking for blotting paper and I'm like, oh, I have a sheet, here you go. And I don't need it back because they're little, they're relatively inexpensive, and I will be picking up more of this because it's always good to have sort of those essentials on hand, I think. And it's not that expensive of an essential to have. A recent addition to my kit has been the Splash Pad ink coaster by Inkmaster. Luxury Brands of America distributes these, and they're fantastic. I saw them at the Chicago Pen Show in 2024, regretted not getting a set, got a set at DC this year, and absolutely adore them because they let me start pens, let me start Posca markers, are just like a good spot to ink up with sample vials. And I've thrown one into my show kit because you never want to make a mess in the show hotel with ink or anything like that, and it's not a big deal to throw one into my kit. And I use them on my desk all the time, so I think it was a good addition to my kit. We'll see how it serves me at the next 2 pen shows this year. I also have 2 well-loved sheets of the Esterbrook blotting paper in 2 different designs. These fit in my traveler's journal because I use the full-size one at a pen show, and so I just carry 2 sheets, which lets me sort of like flip a page and then do it the first side of another page and then close the journal up and keep going with my day. So I do really like the Esterbrook blotting paper. I do find though that, like you can see here, it'll smudge. You need to let it dry, and at a pen show I don't always have time to do that, which is why I like the Visconti paper. I find it doesn't smudge. We also have washi tape. I don't really travel with washi tape to a pen show. I will travel with a little bit of washi tape to a pen show, but I prefer this little skinny size versus thicker rolls, and I think I've got this in like 3 colors. This is Cora Creates washi tape in, I believe, neutrals. I like her thin stuff. I like all of her washi tapes actually, but I carry her skinny stuff because It works well in a journal, but it also like works well for taping off a page if I decide to sketch something out and want a border. This is one of those essentials that I think people don't think of. You get handed a lot of things at a pen show. You get stickers, you get business cards, you sometimes get like pamphlets, and it's hard to keep track of all that stuff. And so I travel with this little Velcro folder. It's small, it's compact, it's Velcro. It's got this little slide in back where you can throw those pamphlets or folded sheets of paper. And this lives in my show bag on show floor, and I will put all of the little bits I'm getting into it, and then I will sort those bits into my traveler's journal in the evening or in the morning before I go back onto show floor. So I know exactly what I've picked up, but also so everything's away and organized. My traveler's journal has a business card insert and one of the like pocket inserts that you can put stickers into, and I utilize that like crazy at a pen show. But I love this on a show floor because it means that I can just shove whatever I'm getting into this pouch, and I'm not just going, okay, I know I got this person's business card, but I don't know where it is. This is fantastic, and I think something that a lot of people overlook because pen shows can be really overwhelming and you can get handed a lot of things. All right, what's next? Oh, my liquids bag. So I don't travel with ink to a pen show. I know I'm going to buy ink. There's no point. The exception is that I do travel with this little liquids bag, which has a single sample of Kirigiro black ink in it and a selection of standard international cartridges. It goes into my checked bag, but during the rest of the time, it hangs out in this bag. It also contains my silicone grease and my O-rings. Now, O-rings are not a liquid, but they do live with my silicone grease, because when you need an O-ring, you need silicone grease. These are my nib vials. Because I buy lots of nibs at pen shows, I like to have a vial for them to go into. So I just carry a bag of clear vials that I can label with a Sharpie and know exactly what I've bought. These are fantastic. I just buy them on Amazon. This is probably one of my favorite things I've ever bought. This is my nib case. It is an 8 sample vial holder from a company that no longer exists. And in it, I have Schmidts and Jovos. And these nibs do not leave this case unless they're getting ground. And once they've left this case and gotten ground, that sample vial is removed and replaced with the same style of nib that has not been ground. And this always stays packed. This one, always packed. It means that if I'm going to a nib event in Toronto or if I'm going to a pen show, I know that if I grab this, I always have spare nibs regardless of if I actually have a nib appointment or not. And I will just pack a pen that takes a size 5 or a Jovo 6 that has a feed and housing in it, and I will just pop nibs in. If you see, most of these nibs don't have, I think the Schmidts might have feeds and housings. The Jovos don't. They are just nibs. So I will just like pop things in as I need them. It works really well, and it means that I only ever have 2 clean uninked pens at a pen show for nib grinds, because when you're getting nib grinds at a pen show, your pens have to be clean and uninked for the most part. And so I just pack 2 pens, regardless of if I have nib appointments or not, that are going to be my nib grind pens if I decide to get anything ground. Is it a bit over the top of a system? Yes. Does it work really well also? Yes. This is my everything kit, is what I'd call it. It has brass sheets, a little grippy, the like pen smoothing stuff for nibs, sample vials for ink, dental floss, because I have a couple pens that have like moving parts, and I find that if something gets like stuck, like wiggling unflavored wax dental floss underneath is sometimes enough to get those parts moving again. Is that recommended? Probably not, but does it work? Yes. So that's definitely something I've done. And then we have the problem child pen case. If a pen is in here, there is something wrong with it. Or it's being dropped off with a nib grinder. And I am just like dropping my pens and going. And so I need it to have a case. And so this is my case. And I quite like it. It's a Galen leather slip and zip in Crazy Horse Navy Blue. And it works really well. I like having a landing spot for pens that need work done to them. And it's a pretty solid system because it means that I always know that if a pen is in here, something needs to happen to it. I have the same thing with pens that I don't own. I have a pen roll at a pen show that is solely used for pens that I am borrowing from people, so that I have the very clear differentiation in my brain of like, these are not my pens. And it's clear to mom, like, if pens are in this roll, they are not mine and they need to be returned to somebody before we leave the show. It's a super great system. It works really well. Most people don't need that system. Most people aren't borrowing pens from brands. I am though. And so I do need a way to keep track of what I've borrowed. I think we're almost done. Are we? Oh, stuff in this pocket. We have a single lens wipe. I need to restock this before Empire because I apparently used a bunch of these at DC. I love these. At home, I tend to just use like normal glasses cleaner. At a pen show though, I love lens wipes, both for cleaning like my phone lens, but also the lens of my glasses. My glasses tend to get really dirty at a pen show, and so it is very nice to just be able to clean your glasses without having to worry about spraying them down and having a second cloth. This is just like an alcohol swab. You open it, you wipe down your glasses, you're good to go. I have 2 mini Ziploc bags. It is doubtful that I will ever buy enough nibs at a pen show that I run out of sample vials, but if I do, I have 2 little Ziplocs. I have 2 more things of washi in that neutrals collection, so I've got a brown and a black to go with the gray. I think the black probably gets used the most. Yeah, the black gets used the most, but I like all the others. I also have a thing of sticky notes. You never know when you need sticky notes, and I seem to always need them when I don't have them, and so I just religiously carry them. There are 2 things that are normally in this bag that aren't currently. That is this platinum European size adapter for ink cartridges, which lets you go from platinum proprietary to standard international. I love this thing. It's great. I don't travel with proprietary cartridges to show, so if a pen needs to be re-inked, I'm either going to do it with whatever bottle I bought at a show or a standard international. I love that Platinum has released these. I picked mine up at Toronto Pen Shop, and I desperately hope that Sailor releases something similar. I doubt they will, but I think this thing's great. And I think it was only like $2 or $3 Canadian, so it would be even cheaper in the States if you can find them. So I carry this. I also carry a full set of Tom Studio Lumos tips. Do I like my Lumos? Not really, but do I still travel with it? Yes. And I travel with a full set of tips because I don't want to travel with a full set of fine liners. And this plus, a sample vial that has tips in it that I've already used, that have been inked, is how I travel with my Lumos. And it works fairly well. You can see, I've got a couple tips out currently. One's in the pen and one is in a sample vial somewhere. We'll find it at some point. I used to travel with things like a glass dip pen and stuff like that. I don't see the point anymore. I don't use them enough to justify bringing them to a pen show. And so I've sort of tailored my kit to what I actually need. It's also still a lot of stuff. It takes up space. What I do like though is that it all lives in this case. It all has a spot in this case, and I know where it lives in this case. So it's easy for me to find, especially on a show floor. There's not a whole lot of searching. It's like opening up a pocket and grabbing what I need, oftentimes without looking into the bag itself. I just know where stuff is. And I also have all those little things you don't always need, but it's always nice to have them, like safety pins. Have I needed safety pins at every show this year? No, but at the couple shows that I have needed them, it's been great to have them. And they don't add that much weight to my kit. So that is what I carry in my Delfonics for a pen show. I will at some point do a full show bag video, probably for Empire. My kit for Scriptus is always smaller because Scriptus is a single day and my home show. So we will see what ends up in my Empire kit this year. But let me know if you have any questions down below. I would love to know what is in your show kit that maybe isn't in my show kit. This isn't my full show kit. This is just like my, I would call it grab and go bag. So if, you know, for whatever reason tomorrow we decided we were going to a pen show, I know that like this bag has, I would say 80% of the essentials. Maybe not like to survive essentials, but like of the like pen show floor essentials. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and have a great rest of your day.